So do your kids struggle in school? Do they spend hours studying but draw blanks when it's time to take a test? Why does learning and remembering important information have to be so hard? Well, it doesn't. In his new book, Supercharged Learning, How Wacky Thinking and Sports Psychology Make It Happen, author Richard James Giordano offers a crash course in a painless, easy-to-master learning process, and he joins us now. Richard, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks for being here.
Corey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know your background. You went to Michigan State. You grew up on the south side, right here.
I did.
In the city in Roseland, right?
In Roseland, that's right.
Well, welcome home.
K-12 public education, finished in Fenger High School.
Fantastic. Good for you. Well, you got a degree, I know, in physical education and biology. You taught in middle school, 26 years as a principal. And as you look back over all that experience, what did you see that wasn't quite working in the classroom that you've sort of come to get your arms around here?
Well, I started in '64 teaching, and I finished up in 85, 86. And over the years, I saw some things that just got continuously worse. And it might be a surprise to some of your viewers to know that some of those problems have their origins with principals in the public school, building principals and their superintendent bosses. But that's not what the book is about. The book is about what I think is a much bigger issue and a bigger problem, which is the estrangement of parents from the public education of their children.
Got it. So more connectedness is what you're looking for. And you also talk here, I mean, the subtitle here, How Wacky Thinking and Sports Psychology Make It Happen. You give me a brief overview of what we're talking about there.
Well, parents know their children so much better than teachers ever can, just because they've been their first teachers from when they were born to right up to when they are finishing their schooling. And so parents know all the idiosyncrasies, all the nuances, all the wacky things their kids have done, all their experiences, the people, places, and things, and they can use all of them to help their kids attach new information by a wacky thinking process, what I call making up crap.
All right, well, give me one specific example that may pop to mind that works sometimes for some parents and kids.
Well, I can give you an example that I use. I work with elite university athletes at the Notre Dame, Indiana University. We have an Indiana University connection, you and I. And one of the things that I explain to them is that there's a part of the brain that's involved in memory and learning. And it's a Latin word, very hard to understand or to learn. But I talk about a story about being in my car going onto the Michigan State University campus, and a hippopotamus, and then 12 more walk by me onto the campus, and I can't understand it. Everybody stopped. Suddenly it occurs to me that the hippopotamus is a pachyderm like the elephant. Great memory, very intelligent. Clearly the hippo is going to the campus to increase his intelligence and memory. So Michigan State or any university is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the structure in the brain wherein memory resides. And so that is locked in the brain. For anybody who happens to be watching, you will not be able to forget that because of the way you learned it.
I got it. And you talk about athlete-powered learning. What does that mean?
When I work with athletes, I find that there are 7 principles that Dr. James Lohr, a sports psychologist, identified 7 principles that elite athletes all use, professional and university, to play powerfully on the field, on the court, swimming, soccer, whatever it is they do. And what I've found is those same 7 principles can be applied directly to academics. And parents, through what I've written in this book, can show their kids how their sports heroes do it and show them that what their sports heroes do, they can do in academics. And I've also added, Corey, a special chapter in there which I think is very important, and it's probably the highlight for me of the book. And it's about how black parents can help their children defuse the charge of acting white. It's a terribly destructive thing for young black children who are trying to achieve in academics to be charged by their classmates of acting white, as if there were such a thing as white behavior for academics and black behavior. It's nonsense. I don't think Michael Jordan, UNC graduate, Chicago Bulls superstar, entrepreneur, selling millions and millions of shoes, is acting white.
Well said. Well, Richard, we appreciate you coming on here. Supercharged Learning, How Wacky Thinking and Sports Psychology Make It Happen. You cover a lot of ground in this book, don't you?
I do that.
You do?
I do that.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to meet you. And
my pleasure.
Before we move on here, I guess I've got one more minute with you, which is great.
Good.
I saw here that One of the quotes from one of the folks in the back, anyone wishing to improve his or her learning will benefit from supercharged learning from, parents of K to 12 children. How about for the younger kids who are just learning and maybe just aren't able to sort of connect with their teachers and remember the things that they should? I mean, a lot of parents identify with that for sure. I mean, there's some simple stuff that at the very beginning we can learn and do a better job with.
As you would expect, at an elementary level, when the kids are younger and less mature, the parents can tailor this process to using things in their backgrounds which are much more basic and fundamental. But they're still as powerful because they draw on the emotion, physical, and visual. We take in information through words, but we don't remember it that way. We don't learn it that way. We learn it through our emotions, physicality, and visual natures. And that's what parents can play on because they know their kids so well in those venues.
Got it. Richard, thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Welcome home.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much.